We complain about commanders who are too small. This guy does both. You get the best of both worlds! Motormaster is the leader of the Decepticons. He commands them with a stern voice that puts the fear in them. He considers himself the king of the road and does not care for those he deems as lesser beings. In the Generations Legacy line, Motormaster was brought back as a new mold and the first commander class figure, mostly in order to include components to help make the combiner Menasor, even without the other bots, though a box set was introduced. Motormaster transforms into a semi-truck and trailer, you know, like an evil Optimus Prime before all the other ones. Say what you want about Rodimus being a commander with extra stuff, but at least the extra stuff is incorporated into the combiner. Mostly. Also, unlike the Combiner Wars Voyager, I'm so glad he comes with a full trailer. It doesn't convert with the bot, but think of the size. I prefer the cap to just focus on Motormaster himself. There's such a weight to it that I feel it's worth the commander price tag. With the cap, it's all very boxy and flat, keeping it simple and down to earth, strong, powerful, and dark. The trailer turns or can be disconnected with a peg and stand. I will say the stand should lock in better as it slips and collapses easily. It's a nice hefty box, but I would prefer a consistent purple stripe, and the thighs look weird like a pair of Ultra Magnus style blasters. I don't mind the chest with the Decepticon symbol like a bold statement. I think my biggest gripe is the hinges for the wheels that can fold accidentally. They did manage to sculpt the back doors though. For the cab, it's incredibly solid. All the panels line up so perfectly to create this brick, with rivet details and a trailer hitch that's not just the feet slapped to the back. Honestly, this is a perfect little truck by itself. Rolls well, love the containers, and the pinned wheels with silver rims. Sure, the back of the truck shows the torso and the knee greebling remains uncovered, but for what they do right, why bother complaining? Wait, are those blast ports on the back? While the trailer could have cleaned up just a tad better, the truck and setup makes up for it. This is a solid truck. Robot mode. Now this is how you do a Motormaster. I thought he would have a fair share of issues with some focus on the combiner form, but no, this is a really solid figure. Of course it leaves out the trailer, but it's worth it. He's pretty sturdy, even if the knees slip out sometimes. I love the nod with the cab details in the feet, the gray to outline the body profile, the white arms to stand out, and some purple highlights that don't outdo his dark presence. Even the back is pretty clean, with the porthole using the trailer hitch. The head's limited to a rotation, but that's due to the classic box surrounding it. Such an icon, but you can see a proper face inside with the metallic purple paint and black around it. Did someone say articulation? Head rotation, shoulders out and in forward to back rotation below, elbow bend, wrist rotation, waist rotation, hips out and in forward to back rotation below, knee bend and foot tilt. Posability is really good, no loose joints anywhere. Quick note, perhaps rotate the hips in this form so the details line up. You do need to rotate the pin back in alt form. Let's take a look at the accessories. He comes with a sword which seems pretty large, but no complaints here. He also has a gun he can hold, but everything else does combine to form a fortress-style setup. The figure can stand in the middle and man the turret, which I don't mind. At least it makes use of it. And I like the towers. I would say it'd be better if it had those Earthrise clips on the ramps. It's a good counter to Laser Prime, but of course, there's more to this. The set includes enough to create Menasor in some form, since all the other components just slap on top, but I don't mind. If anything, it gives you Menasor without worrying too much about the others, and it helps with the choice of going all out, giving you a taste of the thing. I do appreciate the effort put into this. The trailer focuses on getting the limbs right without too many issues, while the main Motormaster just needs to form the inner core and head that gets locked in place. And yes, one of the gray panels just fell off, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Now, the limbs do feel thin, and the legs are weird with the gaps, so let's slap on some cars. Open the wheels and crunch up the arm for drag strip and dead end. There's a small gap in each that, once plugged in, will unlock the two halves to allow the arm to extend again and allow the elbow to work. Then Wild Rider and Breakdown's window and front fold up to plug on the back of the legs and form thicker heels. They push a button that allows these doors to swing closed, revealing specific details. I know they're all decoration and too high on the back, but this thing feels hefty. Not only, it's a lot more sturdy compared to the Combiner Wars we can forget about. You can rotate the legs, but I don't mind the cartoon look. Also, you miss out on the knees, and I think I've had enough barely posable combiner. I love the colors, the shape of the torso, the fact it all comes together fluidly, and the large head with the points on top. My goodness, does that look angry, evil, and amazing. Did someone say articulation? Head rotation, shoulders out and in, forward to back rotation below, elbow bend, wrist rotation, waist rotation, hips out and in, forward to back rotation below, knee bend, and foot tilt. This is a strong bot that stands well. I was surprised that the wrist just rotates with the ratchet. He still gets the sword, but also a gun that plugs into the hand. Or you can use the port on the arm if that's better. Now, I'm not sure about the extra stuff, feels like they just didn't care enough to keep it involved, but with the gun flipped, it stands taller, and I actually think a combiner using a massive turret tower is priceless. It's a lot better than expected. Also, with the gap between the arms and body, you can slide the sword in it. And a little nod, the way the legs attach is a nod to Combiner Wars, and can kind of work with it. There, you got the optional front-facing car leg. This is definitely an improvement on the previous generation's version of Motormaster, not only for including the trailer, which is a nice addition, better than expected, and not only since you can make a Menasor, but Motormaster is completely solid. So this set really does have its merits, but I like the combination. He feels too incomplete without them, even if they're hidden behind the legs. This is surprisingly good, and I have no regrets getting it. You heard about boxed wine, but what about boxed head?
Allspark TV. Now that's just prime.